We're now ready to link up with the Rise correspondent, Nissi Gabriel, who is in Kano, northwest of Nigeria, for an update on the brewing dispute for the throne of the Emir of Kano. Good morning, Nissi. How are you? All right. Well, bring us up to speed.
Yeah, fine.
What is the atmosphere in Kano like? We understand that, Sanusi Lamido has taken over the palace with kingmakers, despite orders from the court, while Ado Bayero, who had been in Ogun State since his ousting, returned to Kano in the wee hours of Saturday and has now relocated to the second palace. I believe that's the Nasarawa Palace, and he's insisting on justice, which appears to be a recipe for disaster, Nissi. What is the mood over there?
Perfectly stated. You're spot on there, Uji, I must say. Well, the mood here in Kano, it's quiet this morning. Everyone going about their activity as usual. But that's not to say the emirship tussle, it's not still lingering. Of course, it lingers on. And as you rightly pointed out, we have two royals laying claim to one throne. And both of them, as I speak to you, are at different palaces. The Emir, who has been reinstated, that's the person of Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II, is currently at the Emir Palace. Why Emir Aminu Ado Bayero is currently at the Nasarawa Palace. And in both places, their supporters, individual supporters are there. They slept there throughout the night down to this morning in solidarity to these both individuals. Well, what's the mood like in Kano again? Divergent views, I must say, because when you go to the camp of those in support of Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II, they are saying that, of course, due process was followed, and like they call the Emir, they said he is the people's Emir, and the people's will has finally prevailed. When you go to the other side of the divide, they will tell you that, well, what the government of Kano State did was absolutely against due process, because recall, on the day the governor assented to that bill, abolishing the 4 Emirates and also repealing the Kano State Emirates Council Law 2019, on that same day, there was a court order restraining the Kano State government from going ahead with that proceeding and from restating Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II. But however, the Kano State government claims that the court order got to them pretty late after all the process had been done and dusted with. Well, on the divide of those in support of Emir Aminu Ado Bayero, they say they have to wait until all court process, all legal options are exhausted. But for now, they recognize Emir Aminu Ado Bayero as their emir. So it's really bad. It's really shameful, I must say, because what is happening here in Kano, the Kano State Emirate Council is being turned to some sort of a caricature, I must say, because you have two royal families struggling for who becomes the emir, the sole emir of the state, and it's really sad, I must say. And there's some sort of political involvement undertone in this whole saga. Oji.
Nissi, for following up on this developing story. We know that Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf and the 16th Emir of Kano Muhammadu Sanusi II are said to have been in a meeting with security chiefs in the state following this ongoing dispute within the royal family. A few hours after this closed-door meeting, Sanusi moved to his private residence in the Emirates Palace, accompanied by the governor and his supporters. Have there been any details of the meeting? Because we've not been able to confirm exactly what what came out of said meeting, Nissi.
Yes, well, what we do know is that from yesterday, at the early hours of yesterday, that was 1 a.m., the governor of Kano State, alongside his deputy and other top government officials, have been at the Emir Palace. That's where the palace that houses Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II. And they have not left there up until now as I speak to you. And that's because as of yesterday, there was some sort of apprehension that there might be a forceful takeover and a forceful removal of Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II out of that palace. And on getting that information, I think the governor, alongside his deputy, moved to that palace to provide some sort of security for the Emir. And what we noticed yesterday, what came out of that meeting is still sketchy for now, but what we do know happened yesterday and what we noticed on ground is that when you go to the Emir Palace, the one that houses Sanusi, you see only security details attached to the governor. And I believe that's one of the reasons the governor has refused to leave that palace until he gets maybe further information that the coast is clear. On the other hand, when you go to the Emir Palace that houses Aminu Ado Bayero, you find soldiers, DSS, police personnel stationed there. So it suggests some sort of federal might backing or giving him some sort of cover or protection. So that's what we've noticed happening here in Kano. And well, for now, everywhere is calm, and the supporters are just waiting up until June 3rd, when this case will come up in court, and then they can know which direction to tow.
Thank you so much, Nissi. Now, you said everywhere is calm, but there is military, DSS, and police presence in Kano State. And you've pointed out something that people have been discussing, which is what seems to be a federal interest in what should be a state matter. Now, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has come out to deny that he reached out to the governor of Kano or the deputy governor in order to support Bayero's claim to the throne. However, I wonder if this is adding to the tension in the state, if the federal government's entrance into this matter, or alleged entrance into this matter, is adding to the tension on ground in Kano State.
Of course, absolutely, it is. It is fueling the tension and the apprehension here in Kano State. And like you rightly pointed out, yesterday the deputy governor of the state alleged that the Emir, Aminu Ado Bayero, was brought into the state and was given a private jet to fly into the state by the National Security Advisor. That was an allegation. And hours later, as of yesterday, the office of the National Security Advisor came out to debunk that allegation. So there's a seeming sort of federal interest in this matter. And it's so sad. And opinion leaders there in Kano State say, if it continues this way, Kano State will be brought to total chaos. And there are also predictions of some sort of state of emergency declaration here in Kano State if the federal government continues to weigh in or show some sort of interest in this whole emirship tussle. But what some opinion leaders are saying, just saying, emirship and chieftaincy matter lies under the sole jurisdiction. Of course, that's what our extant laws in the country also do postulate. Lies under the sole jurisdiction of the state. So it's actually begs for the question why the federal government's interference, alleged interference or interest in this matter. And some other persons have also criticized military involvement, because why are we supposed to see our military involved in this kind of issue on the streets, giving protection to some sort of individuals as regards this whole emirship tussle? These are our military personnel that ought to protect the territorial integrity of the country and not supposed to be seen on the street when it comes to issues like this. So that's the perception of some opinion leaders here in Kano State. So divergent views, I must say, here and there, and this is an issue that will keep on developing in the coming days, because like I said earlier, June 3rd is the day when this issue is supposed to come up in court. So interesting developments here from Kano in the coming days, and we'll be on ground and we'll keep our eyes on it and bring our viewers up to speed as development unfolds.
Absolutely, Nissi. I mean, we are waiting for June 3rd to, for the Federal High Court there to determine who the rightful owner of the throne is. But I don't know. I wonder if you have, spoken with the people of Kano regarding the other emirs that were, dethroned. We have the emir of Rano, Karaye, Gaya, and Bichi, and they have adhered to the directive of the governor. They have left their palaces and they have, appeared to have complied. Have you heard anything from that region?
Yes, what we do know is that some of these emirs have already started. As of yesterday, they were trooping into the Emir Palace to pay homage to Emir Mohammed Sanusi II. Some of them, I must say. But, well, as regards the opinion of, let's say, mixed reactions from the residents of Kano State, because some of them will tell you that, look, Kano State has always practiced a single Emirates system, and that is what they cherish, and that is what they want for Kano, for their state, because a single Emirates system to them is revered. It pulls more influence across the globe, rather than splitting these Emirates councils into 5, because they'll feel it's the influence of the Emirates is going to be weakened by this. So for them, reverting back to a single Emirate system, it gladdens their heart. That's on one side of the divide. Meanwhile, on the other side of the divide, they will tell you that splitting this Emirates Council, having 5 Emirates Council here in Kano State brings development back to the grassroots, because it makes people at the grassroots able to, it brings development closer to them, because these emirs were able to take care of them, their immediate needs, and be able to get such stuff like grants, loans from the federal government. It makes it easier for them. But the other divide would also tell you that, well, it has been a long-age practice system, tradition in Kano, for them to have a single emirate system, because it dates back to the days of Usman Dan Fodio, and that is what they want for the state. So it's a mixed reaction here in Kano State. And like I said earlier, most of the people, majority of the people here in Kano State are just waiting for the courts to decide. And some other persons will tell you that why do they have to resort to the courts? Because they will say only the kingmakers and the state governments have the power to decide their emir. So taking these issues to the courts makes it all political and brings them some sort of political influence. So divergent views from a mixed array of people here in Kano State.
All right, then thank you so much, Nissi. We appreciate your time on here, and we'll continue to monitor this story. Make sure you stay safe while you're out there in Kano.